Hey, good morning, everybody. I don't know if you guys can see that at the beginning of the video, but it's always funny to watch Kevin and I trying these different angles to get the remote to actually turn on, and I just wonder sometimes what the first little clip looks like, because I don't ever go back and watch these. But hey, I'm Fred, this is Kevin, We're Group 4610, you're watching ShortsUpPowerHour.com, and today is Tuesday, December 28th. So Kevin, I thought we would talk about what in my mind is actually one of the more exciting short sale files we've worked on recently. It happened to not take very long, and it happened
pretty quick.
To not be the hardest one ever, but it was not the easiest one either. But what I'm really excited about is how we went about closing that transaction and some of the dynamics that went on in it. So set it up for you real quick, and then I'll let Kevin jump in. First mortgage servicer, Bank of America. Investor, Bank of America. How do we know that? Because we're really good detectives. Second lender, Greentree. Okay? Previously serviced by, I believe, GMAC, which likely meant that I think GMAC was the investor, but I'm guessing on that because I don't have the file in front of me, I don't remember. But Greentree in second position, for those of you that have never worked a Greentree file, we'll just start by saying they're a little more difficult than your average lender. They're not like City Mortgage just slapping out $3,000 full settlement approvals on their second lien saying, here you go.
No, they're not.
So I think Greentree on this file happened to be owed about $139,000 was the amount, $139,000 and change.
Somewhere right around there.
B of A happened to be owed, $500,000 or $600,000, and the property was worth right at around $350,000.
Yep.
And I'll let you step in, unless you don't know the details.
I gotta be honest, I never touched this file, so...
Yeah, well, I thought you learned them through osmosis, but maybe
No,
not.
I mean, I know enough about this file, but not enough to actually explain this to the viewers here today.
Well, so anyway, we go to, anytime we see, just a tip here, this is our mindset, anytime we see Greentree in second position, we actually work to get their approval as quickly as possible. Yeah. And the reason we do that is because we have learned that trying to get a $3,000 approval from Greentree usually doesn't happen unless it's like a purchase money loan and it's a low dollar amount second. But anything in the $100,000+ second mortgage balance range, area, you need to be realistic. Let's say that.
They're not exactly easy to work with there. They're more aggressive than most.
So Greentree starts off by saying we need 5% of the purchase price, which is my favorite. Where in the world did they come
Dude, where did that? I remember that came out.
5% of the purchase price?
B of A came out with that like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, and I'm like, really? And then some people just have stuck with that. And Greentree is apparently, I heard them yesterday say to Gubernick, we were making some phone calls together, and his negotiator said to him, 5% of the purchase price or 10% of the balance, whichever is greater.
So they wanted 5% of the purchase price. That would have made like $15,000+. So we're not that's not going to happen.
Not a question.
What else will you take? So, well, I can submit it for 10%, but I'm not sure. Anyway, they submit it. What do you know? They come back with an approval for $13,900 and change. So meanwhile, we're over here at B of A in Equator working on a file. We get the BPO done. We learned from being a good detective at Bank of America that the BPO happens to be at or even a little bit less than the offer, right?
Yeah.
Good job on our part. And what we come to find out is that when we submit it and ask B of A to pay $15,000, I think that was the first dollar amount we used, they say no. And
of course.
Now, because we're dealing with a negotiator who we've worked with in the past, we explained to her the situation. She offers up $9,000 for the second, knowing their position. Not a bad offer, truthfully.
Normally, it's not bad when you're not dealing with Greentree.
Sure. So we have to take this one a little bit higher to management, and we end up talking to an AVP in the department who helped us on this file. And in my dialogue with her, and this is kind of why I'm telling the story because it was kind of funny, I shared with her who the second lender was, and you could hear in her voice, oh, Greentree. And I told her about some of my stories. I've worked with this lady a lot, but I've never told her about my stories.
Well, and she thinks you're aggressive.
Well, yeah, I've ticked her off or angered her before, however you want to say that.
That's fair.
And so I said, hey, if you think I'm aggressive at B of A, you should see me at Greentree. I actually have a cease and desist order or letter from them to never call them again. I don't know. I think they've just confused me with somebody else. I think it was a mistake, but. Anyway.
Some other Fred Weaver the fourth.
Some other Fred Weaver the fourth, yeah. So anyway, she kind of laughs a little bit, and the first thing she asks right after I tell that story, she goes, well, who owns this loan? Do we own it?
Yeah.
And I said, let me check. And I go, no, it's actually serviced by GMAC, so I don't think you own it. And I said, I said, why are you, I said, and I already knew the answer to this, but I said, why are you guys sending a lot of, oh yeah, we're selling a lot of our second mortgages over to Greentree right now. I go, well great, well then you guys obviously know that they're really good collectors. So in the interest of you guys getting a deal done, why don't you work with me on this? So she submits it up for approval, and anyway, in the end it comes back and we were able to get it approved. We also, like you referenced that conversation with Gubernick yesterday, we were on the phone, he was on the phone actually, Gubernick was, with somebody at Greentree and who referenced that they had been buying a lot of Bank of America loans. So if you weren't aware of that.
I'm pretty sure he referenced it because they were, B of A was bad at collecting and they were good at collecting.
Yeah, he actually, kind of took a shot at them. Yeah.
Kinda, he flat out sucker punched.
Yeah, I wish I knew his name, you probably do.
His first name was Kevin.
Kevin, okay. All right, so Kevin
we've got that phone call recorded so we can find it out.
It's a good one. So anyway, the idea of today's episode, I just want to share with you guys a little bit of the life of a short sale file when you have a really big second mortgage lender, especially like a Greentree, and how we handled it. Now, you know what, if the investor on the first had been Freddie Mac, it probably wouldn't have gone down that clean and easy. But the investor on the first loan happened to be Bank of America, and that's why you got to know who the investor is. It's also why you got to know who the investor on the second is, and you got to know how to play these parts. And if you're not aware out there, you're going to start seeing some files that are transferred from B of A over to Greentree. You're going to see some other lenders like GMAC transferring over to Greentree. And we learned this about 6 to 9 months ago when you were talking to a friend or whatever that you used to work with who still works at Greentree. Now, not in the loss mitigation department, it wasn't like giving you insider info, but he just shared with you that, you know what, we're buying a lot of loans right now out there, and you'll start seeing more of it. And we've just recently really started to see that in the last couple months.
Yeah, we're just now starting to feel it in our business because there's that process that it takes.
Yep. So today, maybe you're dealing with a second mortgage that you think's really big, and there's no way that lender's going to give $13,000 or some crazy number. You've never had that happen. I'm here to tell you it happens all the time.
Yep.
Sometimes it's as easy as the story we just described. Sometimes it takes longer, but that was a 45-day approval, I believe.
That's not bad.
That's not bad at all for B of A Greentree.
Let's get some more of those.
Yeah. Well, let's get some more episodes done. So we'll see you back here tomorrow. Don't forget, you know what? We've been talking about our January 21st class in Phoenix, which you can register for on our events page, and you should be registering for because the price is going up here at the end of the month. But we should also remind you that we're actually teaching 2 other classes are on our calendar.
Well, yeah, absolutely. So the 1 week after the Phoenix class, we'll be in Seattle, Washington area. So the 28th of January will be in Seattle, Washington. You can get all the information up here, shortsalepowerhour.com/events. And we're going to Northern Virginia in early March. Yeah. So that's Fredericksburg, Richmond, not very far from Maryland, not very far from Washington, D.C., guys. We're going to be really close in a really big metro area. It's going to be a huge event. I'm actually expecting hundreds of people at that class. So it's going to be a huge event there in Richmond or Fredericksburg. So
make your plans now for the Northern Virginia area, okay? And then what I wanted to say, if there's anybody on this video watching from Washington, anywhere in the state of Washington, Seattle or otherwise, you need to get down to our class. I can't tell you how many agents we've actually talked to in the last few weeks, that are really knowledgeable, that have continuously said to us, and I heard this comment as far back as 6 months ago, the Washington, Seattle, Washington, or greater Washington area market is Phoenix of 2008 or early 2009.
Yep.
I have heard so many agents say that now, that are knowledgeable, saying, you know what, our market is so far behind where you guys are, we're just now getting there. So it's important if you're in that northwest part of the country that you get out there to our class. Maybe you're not seeing a lot of short sales yet, but they're coming, I promise you.
Guaranteed.
1, 2, 3. Short Sale Power Hour! Short Sale Power Hour! Crush it.
Better job on the clock today.
Dang.